Hello, good morning. Happy hello. I am so happy to be here with you today. This is going to be a quick live. If you know me, I don't like dilly dallying, and that's like an old timey word. Anyway, I like to just get right into it. So, Gabby Petito case. Oh my gosh, the Gabby Petito case got me into true crime. And so I didn't even know what the term true crime was until the Gabby Petito case. I think it affected so many people, many women and others, men as well, feel or felt or knew or understood what domestic violence was, DV was. And so, and it really helped to shine a light on that and help to prevent other DV situations or help people get out of those DV situations. So, what's happening now? Yesterday, they apparently came up with oh, you know what? Let me back up for those of you who don't know Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito was a 22-year-old young woman who lived in Florida with her fiance, Brian Laundrie. They lived in Northport. They happened to live with with Brian Laundrie's parents. And then they went on a cross-country trip in a van, and she was building her blog and her vlog on YouTube, which still exists, by the way. And she ended up sadly being killed by Brian Laundrie in Wyoming while they were there camping. And so it's just horrifying. It really gripped the nation. Oh, forgot my lighting. Sorry about that. And so what ended up happening is that he ended up killing himself while he was escaped. This is Brian Laundrie, and what the reason that there's still this lingering lawsuit, or was this lingering lawsuit between Gabby Petito's parents and Brian Laundrie's parents, is that there was a statement that was made by the Laundrie's attorney, Steven Bertolino, which indicated that they were hoping that while Gabby's body was still missing, or while Gabby was still missing, that they hoped that she would be found. And so that one statement is what the lawsuit is about, the intentional infliction of emotional distress, because Laundrie's parents didn't get back to Petito's parents and were purposely blocking and not getting back to them. The Petitos trying to find where their daughter is, and they made the statement that seemed to indicate that they believed that she was out there somewhere, right? That she was still alive. And so that's pretty much the point of the lawsuit. And there have been depositions over the last few weeks where the Laundries, or actually that have been revealed over the last week or so, where the Laundries said that, and actually I'm going to go ahead and share the article. Let's see. So this is from WFLA, and some of the revelations that came out were, one of the big ones for me was that he said that Brian Laundrie called his parents, and he said here, recently released court documents revealed the phone calls Brian Laundrie made to his parents after Gabby Petito was murdered. Documents described the phone calls as extremely frantic, revealed that Brian Laundrie was very upset. In his deposition, Chris Laundrie admits that on August 29th, 2021, 2 days after Petito is believed to have been murdered, is the day when everything hit the fan. Brian called him in a frantic state and said, quote, "Gabby's gone." Chris claims he has no idea what his son meant, and after being asked for help, he called Bertolino. "And what did he say to you?" Chris Laundrie was asked during questioning. "I asked him, how is he doing? And he was not calm, and he got very excited and told me things had, Gabby's gone, and he got very frantic. Everything was frantic and quick. So, Gabby's gone." "Meaning what?" the attorney said. "Well, I have no idea what he meant." And so there's been a big question about that, the relationship that Brian Laundrie had with his parents, because for most of us, we would be like, okay, well, we would ask questions, we would probe, we would figure out what the heck does that mean? Did she leave you? Did she abandon you? Did she take her van and left you? Did you guys get into a big fight? Is she missing? Like, what's going on? And so that's the big thing that we think as rational people, what we would say in that situation. But we don't know necessarily the parenting style of everyone. They have since said that they thought that Gabby had left before. Like she had gone out sometimes until very late, or that she kind of left and not really said anything and maybe gone to visit her family. So there was this ambiguity with that. And it seems like they're really obviously not very good at communicating. If that's the truth, and if that's really what they thought, they weren't very good at communicating. But Bertolino, the attorney, did get an attorney in Wyoming for Brian Laundrie. So obviously they thought, I mean, if you're going to get an attorney to represent you, something had to happen, right? Whether it was for criminal purposes or civil purposes, there something that needed representation. Usually you don't need representation unless there might be a reason why you've done something wrong, right? And so that's what was kind of interesting there. And this is the other thing that to me stood out the most. Roberta Laundrie's faced possible arrest. Days after Gabby Petito's remains were found in Wyoming, Bertolino wanted to hold a news conference to address the public scrutiny. However, Bertolino said that the FBI urged against the press conference, stating that there was a possibility of Roberta Laundrie being charged, according to court documents. Following Bertolino's decision to cancel the Laundrie's press conference, Roberta was, let me put this bigger. Following the decision to cancel the Laundrie's press conference, Roberta was never charged. Christopher Laundrie, Brian's father, is never mentioned by Bertolino as facing the possibility of being arrested by the FBI. Bertolino says the FBI tipped their hand on what Roberta could have been charged with. I discussed it with Roberta, and we were at a loss as to what they could possibly be charging her with. And I don't want to misspeak, but I believe I had back and forth conversations with Brian Gee as to what is here, and he could not tell me. All he could tell me was that he believed it was something electronic. It was something they believed Roberta had done with electronics. Bertolino adds that his only theory on what electronics-related charge the FBI could use to arrest Roberta was accompanying her son to a cell phone store to purchase a new phone after he had returned from Wyoming without Petito. Bertolino indicated to Gee purchasing a cell phone is something many parents, including himself, routinely do with their children. Right. So I think the question then is, did they know? Like, let's say it has to do with the cell phone. Did Roberta know that Brian Laundrie got rid of his phone because that could be potential evidence because of what happened to Gabby? Then it could be like, well, what did they know? Was there any reason? But I think he's intentionally being superficial here, because electronic, something electronic. There are so many things. Electronic could be an email. Electronic could be like a wire, right? Like nowadays, people can get on, if you send money to somebody electronically, then there's like a whole other slew of like online fraud charges that happen if you send money electronically. So I think that I don't know. Bertolino is not dumb. I think he's purposely being coy here and vague in what he's saying as electronic, because there's so many different things. Again, it could have been an email or a text message that was sent, and that could be something electronic. So he's saying he's making it into electronics, but it could have been electronic, which is digital, something digitally sent or something digitally done that's related. Like as an example, I don't remember the exact charge, but in the case of Vandersloot, who killed Natalie Holloway, he was charged with some type of like an online fraud because he emailed the mom, and like all this stuff was done digitally. And so that was an extra charge that was done versus if he would have just sent a check, or if money had been sent the old fashioned way, right? That's the original type of charges. And since the digital age, there are now electronic or digital charges that are added on top of other types of charges. So again, I don't I'm not an attorney and I'm not in law enforcement, but I'm just saying it could be much more than just what Bertolino is saying, right? Now, it's not Bertolino's job to divulge every single possible thing that Roberta could have done wrong. So I get he's playing the attorney card, but to me, it sounds like he's kind of playing dumb, in my humble opinion. Okay, so we've already heard of the burn after reading letter. Let's get into what actually happened. There is the lawsuit between the Petito's parents and Laundrie's parents, where the Petitos want to sue them because of this infliction of emotional or intentional infliction of emotional distress. The civil trial was set for May, and they got a mediator in there to see if they can come up with some terms to help to settle this out of court, so it doesn't have to go to court. And here is the report from WFLA. The family of Gabby Petito reached an agreement with the family of Brian Laundrie and their attorney during mediation on Wednesday, and will avoid a civil trial, family members told News Channel 8. The family held discussions at a secret location in Venice. After a long day of mediation, a confidential resolution has been reached between the parents of Gabby Petito, the parents of Brian Laundrie, and attorney Steven Bertolino. That's right. So it wasn't just the parents of Brian Laundrie. The Petitos were also suing the attorney Steven Bertolino. He was included as a co-defendant in that. So the parents of Brian Laundrie and attorney Steven Bertolino, to which all parties reluctantly agreed in order to avoid further legal expenses and prolonged personal conflict. I think that, I don't know how much money Steven Bertolino has. The Laundries had been paying for attorneys and such, and like other charges and other things. So I don't know how much money they had. It had been stated by Gabby Petito's father, Joe, that there is like no amount of money would bring justice, that he didn't want any amount of money. And we all know that money, and even if somebody were to have be charged and convicted for worst possible thing, for murder, that even if they get sentenced and they put out, even death penalty, there might be a sense of justice that the person is being held accountable, but nothing will ever bring back a deceased loved one. And so I think that they really wanted to hurt the Laundries, like have them feel the pain and being part of the, sort of like a cover up, I think, of what really happened to Gabby. So that was their statement, and it ends here. Our hope is to close this chapter of our lives to allow us to move on and continue to honor the legacy of our beautiful daughter, Gabby. And I'm going to be covering, I wanted to cover this story because this is the story that really got me into true crime and the reason why I started my channel. But I think that with my new focus being on empowering survivors and advocacy, I really want to cover what the Gabby Petito Foundation is doing, because they're really helping to give a voice to survivors. They're helping to provide resources and other things that are going to help survivors of DV and other crimes in families. Because domestic violence is typically known between family members, but between between partners, intimate partners, but it could be other things as well. So I really hope that, that we can shed light on what they're doing and bring some more stories that are helping people. In a statement to WFLA, Bertolino said, Christopher and Roberta Laundrie and I participated in mediation with the Petito family, and the civil lawsuit has now been resolved. The terms of the resolution are confidential, and we look forward to putting this matter behind us. So that's it. I don't think that there's much else to say, just that it was, this has been going on. Gabby died was found dead on September 19, 2021. Brian Laundrie took his own life sometime in October 2021, or at least he was found. And then some months later, the family of Gabby Petito ended up suing Brian Laundrie's family and Steven Bertolino. So I don't know. I think I think this is, although of course it would be nice to see more information come out about the Laundrie's involvement in this and what other details come out publicly. It's at least, hopefully this is a good resolution for Gabby's family, and they can now move on and take that energy that's been put into this lawsuit into helping more victims, more survivors, and preventing this from happening again or anything like it. So love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for everyone who tuned in live and who hear your thoughts, your comments. Let me know. If you haven't yet, please like this video. It'll help me to get this video out into the algorithm. I haven't really been posting a lot of videos lately, so I want to start getting into posting more and more on these topics that are specific about advocacy. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you do. I try to bring stories of survivors, and I'm going to be doing more interviews with survivors, as well as other true crime stories that many of us are just feel really gripped by, really emotionally connected to or with. All right, everyone, have a blessed rest of your day. Oh, and I forgot, I'm going to be doing another live tomorrow talking on about gaslighting. So it's interesting, this whole thing. A lot of domestic violence survivors have been felt gaslighted and emotionally manipulated. So we're going to be talking about that. So these are some ways to identify signs that you've been gaslighted and what to do about it. So hopefully, if that's something that you're interested in, you'll learn something or let somebody else know. And yeah, it's a way for us to all learn and grow together. All right, everyone, have a blessed rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.